Good morning, everybody. Jenny Clouston here. The traffic is a bit noisy today. I apologize about that. You know, it's spring in Australia, and so that means that all the Australian flowers and wildflowers are just doing their thing and going mad, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I love going for walks in the back of my garden where I back onto this beautiful creek and all the trees are flowering. It's really beautiful. And normally people go, okay, well, it's spring, I'm going to spring clean. But what I started a little while ago is I'm trying to finish some of the many quilts that I have started and haven't completed. And let me just say that going into my sewing room and seeing the sheer volume of fabric and threads and uncompleted UFOs I have accumulated over the years, I find quite daunting. And in fact, it sort of saddens me, because I think for some unknown reason, we as quilters and creators, we sometimes turn into consumers rather than, total just creators. And so when I go in there, I sort of feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume, and I don't think that I will ever use the fabrics and threads that I have accumulated. And as I said, that's quite saddening for me. And I also find, seeing that I'm going on a tangent about being consumers, is that now with social media and my least favorite thing in the whole world is Pinterest. But I think also too, it's easy to become consumers of other people's work rather than just creating ourselves with no outside noise coming in at us. And I'm sort of, so many people in my class know how I feel about Pinterest, and they go, but Jenny, it's so fun. I sort of sit down at my iPad or whatever, and 45 minutes later I'm still on Pinterest. Well, that really also saddens me, because they could have spent that 45 minutes kind of creating something on their own. So you can see this spring has brought me to a point of going, come on, Jennifer, you need to complete your stuff that you've created. One thing that I love to do, and the reason why I'm doing this little video on quilting, is that somebody did post a comment saying that they would like to see what I'm doing, because maybe it'll inspire them to get into quilting, or maybe finish theirs. I prefer not to sit at my sewing machine and sew, so all my quilts, most of them, if not all, are done by hand, and also are quilted by hand. But I'm starting to decide, well, I don't know if this quilt or that quilt is worthy of my hand quilting, so it's off to the a machine quilter to do. So let's go. So this quilt here, for example, I don't know if I should pan out or in. It's made out of Aunt Grace 1930s reproduction fabric, and I have pieced it all by hand. And the quilt top is complete. All I have to do is quilt it. However, I think that this one I might dive in and quilt it by hand. Right. The next one that I'm closest to being finished is this pies and tarts. A while ago it was quite the go, especially in Australia. Everybody was making it. And one of the women that I had been teaching, she had been coming to my classes for about 15 years. She got dementia, and she started off by piecing them all different colors, and then as her dementia increased, she simply just cut the fabrics and put them together all in one fabric, and didn't create these intricate pinwheels. And when she passed away, I realized that all this work and all this fabric that she had bought and spent her time cutting up would go to an op shop or a thrift store, because nobody would be prepared to unpick and everything else. And her family members gave me all her quilts and fabrics to disperse, and I said to them, well, this one I'm definitely going to do. And I unpicked each one of these, because she had just sort of cut them up and they would have all been the same color, and I unpicked them and I redid this quilt, and it is really a very fun, vibrant quilt. And this one I will definitely get machine quilted. It's nearly done. It's nearly done. Kim's, so I take my quilts to Kim's here in Warana on the Sunshine Coast, and they do machine quilting, so they're going to get this, another one of this. Another thing that I absolutely love doing, if anybody knows me, is English paper piecing. Is, I normally say it's my yoga, but in actual fact, I just consider it to be my medicine. I have been making quilts, the English paper piecing method, for nearly 40 years, and it still brings me so much joy and relaxing. It's just what I do. And this quilt I have made up of vintage sheets and the odd bit of embroidered doily thrown in. And this is huge. This quilt is absolutely massive because I so enjoyed doing it. So I think that this one I will definitely hand quilt this one. It's huge. It's absolutely enormous. Now the reason why I love English paper piecing is because while you're sitting in front of the TV, whatever, you can turn your scraps of anything into this beautiful basket of just joy. Look at these. I just love seeing covered cardboard. Why it brings me so much joy is beyond me. I just love the process of it, and I don't really think about what I'm going to do with them. You can see that some of them are different sizes according to the piece of scrap fabric that I have on hand. They will be so if a big piece, I'll go from that size, smaller, and then I used to go smaller than that, but I don't anymore. And yes, why I like this is it's very I can go anywhere with it, and I don't think about it. So for example, I just cover all these papers. They're in huge big glass jars in my sewing room. They look very nice, and they stay there until I decide, well, I can do something with them. They're very transportable. So for example, you all know about this little this little Borrow inspired sewing caddy pattern of mine, and many of you have bought it. And the reason why it is this shape, and the reason why it looks like this, is that when I travel in the aeroplane, it sits beautifully on that little, that fold out table in the aeroplane, and everything that I need, especially the small pieces. These are the vintage sheet pieces left over from the other quilts, and I can just sew in the aeroplane. I can keep all my threads in there and papers, and off I go. And also if my pieces are bigger, I use this little, I think they're called rice bags now, this little square thing that I made absolutely ages ago. It's very tatty, and this one too will sit perfectly on a table, on that little fold-out table in the aeroplane or in the train when I travel from Sydney to Bungendore. And these take really big pieces, and this bag takes a huge amount, so I can just pile it full of papers and fabrics, and I am off to go and to travel. So whoever asked me about my quilting, that's what I'm doing. That's what I do. And they are all scrap quilts, and I don't, they're not really planned in any way. So with that, on my little journey, and I'm going to really make a concerted effort to get into my sewing room this spring and decide what's going to be finished and finish it, because you know what? I'm running out of time. Have a good day. Bye for now. Before I go, I just thought I'd just show you, and for those of you who have got my book, you would have seen this. What I also really like to do is combine my English paper piecing with embroidery. So I can combine my two loves. So, and you can see this little clutch over here. I obviously had some, something's dropped. I had some of the triangle shapes, left over, and so that became this little clutch, and I just sort of put some nonsense on it. What else oh yes, let me just get it because it's fallen on the floor. Traffic is really bad this morning. Here's another example of English paper piecing with embroidery. That's from my fourth book. I just wanted to show to you as in it's not finished. You can see the stabilizer on here. Once again, good example. I can show you the stabilizer first with a non-woven stabilizer, and then again with a parlin or pellon. A parlin is a little bit different to pellon. And then this one is one of my favorites. It's an English paper piecing too, but it's the apple core one, and that is on the cover of Foolproof Crazy Quilt Projects. Isn't that beautiful? So now I will definitely love and leave you on my little video today on my hand piecing and my quilting projects. Thanks for your time. Definitely. Bye for now. That there is a beautiful king parrot, and there's a pair of them. That's the male, and he's come for food, so he'll come first, check out where the food is. He'll call the female, and then she will join him, and he won't eat until she starts to eat and eat. Oh, he's gone.